Mike Reiss is an American television comedy writer. He served as a showrunner, writer, and producer for the animated series The Simpsons and co-created the animated series The Critic. Born September 15, 1959, age 65 years, Bristol, Connecticut, United States. Spouse, Denise Reiss. Height, 1.71 meters. Early life. Reiss, the middle child of 5, was born to a Jewish family in Bristol, Connecticut. His mother was a local journalist and his father was a doctor. He attended Memorial Boulevard Public School, Thomas Patterson School and Bristol Eastern High School and has said that he felt like an outsider in those places. Reiss studied at Harvard University. He says that he hates Harvard as an institution, explaining that I had an epiphany on my 3rd day there. This place would be just as good as a summer camp where you met other people, networked, and learned from them. I feel the education I got there was distant and useless and uncaring. I feel they sort of squandered my youth and my father's savings. Reiss studied English, but disliked the course and was rejected from a creative writing class. He focused his attention on comedy, performing in talent shows and writing. In Holworthy Hall at Harvard, Reiss met fellow freshman Al Jean. They befriended one another and collaborated in their writing efforts for the humor publication Harvard Lampoon. Reiss became co-president of the Harvard Lampoon, alongside John Beatty. Jeff Martin, another writer for the Lampoon, said Reiss and Jean definitely loomed large around the magazine. They were very funny guys and unusually polished comedy writers for that age. We were never surprised that they went on to success. Jean has also said that the duo spent most of their time at the Lampoon, adding that it was practically my second dorm room. Career. Work with Al Jean on The Simpsons, The Critic and other projects. The humor magazine National Lampoon hired Jean and Reiss after they graduated in 1981. In the 1980s, the duo began collaborating on various television projects. During that time Reiss and Jean worked as writers and producers on television shows such as The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, 1984 to 1986, Alf, Sledgehammer, and It's Gary Shandling's Show. In 1989, Reiss was hired along with Jean as the first members of the original writing staff of the Fox network animated series The Simpsons. He worked on the 13 episodes of the show's first season, 1989. They became executive producers and showrunners of The Simpsons at the start of the 3rd season, 1991. A showrunner has the ultimate responsibility of all the processes that an episode goes through before completion, including the writing, the animation, the voice acting, and the music. The first episode Jean and Reiss produced was Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, aired September 19, 1991, and they felt a lot of pressure on them to make it good. They felt so pressured that they did 6 to 7 rewrites of the script to make it funnier. Jean said one reason for doing all these rewrites is because I kept thinking it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Reiss added, we were definitely scared. We had never run anything before, and they dumped us on this. Jean and Reiss were showrunners until the end of the 4th season, 1993. Since the show had already established itself in the first 2 seasons, they were able to give it more depth during their tenure. Jean believes this is one of the reasons that many fans regard season 3 and 4 as the best seasons of The Simpsons. Sam Simon has stated The Simpsons wouldn't have been The Simpsons without. Reiss has won 4 Primetime Emmy Awards for his work on the show. They left after season 4 to create The Critic, an animated show about film critic Jay Sherman, voiced by John Lovitz. The show is executive produced by The Simpsons co-developer James L. Brooks. It was first broadcast on ABC in January 1994 and was well received by critics, but did not catch on with viewers and was put on hiatus after 6 weeks. It returned in June 1994 and completed airing its initial production run. For the 2nd season of The Critic, Brooks cut a deal with the Fox network to have the series switch over. Brooks wanted to have Sherman crossover onto The Simpsons, as a way to promote The Critic's move to Fox. Sherman appeared in the episode A Star is Burns, which Reiss and Jean returned to produce. The Simpsons creator Matt Groening was not fond of the crossover and complained publicly that it was just a 30-minute advertisement for The Critic. Brooks said, for years, Al and Mike were 2 guys who worked their hearts out on this show, staying up until 4 in the morning to get it right. The point is, Matt's name has been on Mike's and AL's scripts, and he has taken plenty of credit for a lot of their great work. In fact, he is the direct beneficiary of their work. The Critic is their shot, and he should be giving them his support. Reiss said that he was a little upset by Groening's actions and that this taints everything at the last minute. This episode doesn't say watch the Critic all over it. Gene added, what bothers me about all of this is that now people may get the impression that this Simpsons episode is less than good. It stands on its own even if the Critic never existed. On Fox, the Critic was again short-lived, broadcasting 10 episodes before its cancellation. A total of 23 episodes were produced, and it returned briefly in 2000 with a series of 10 internet broadcast webisodes. The series has since developed a cult following thanks to reruns on Comedy Central and its complete series release on DVD. In 1994, Reiss and Gene signed a 3-year deal with the Walt Disney Company to produce other TV shows for ABC. The duo created and executive-produced Teen Angel, which was cancelled in its first season in 1997. Reiss said it was so compromised and overworked. I had 11 executives full-time telling me how to do my job. This was the only project created under their contract which was broadcast. The pair periodically returned to work on The Simpsons. In addition to A Star is Burns, they produced Round Springfield for Season 6. Both episodes were written with the aid of their fellow writers from the Critic. While under contract at Disney, they produced 2 episodes of Season 8, The Springfield Files and Simpsoncalifragilisticexpiala, Annoyed Grunt, Sias, and 2 of Season 9, Lisa's Sax and Simpson Tide. When Gene returned to The Simpsons permanently as showrunner from Season 13, Reiss returned part-time as a consultant and producer, flying to Los Angeles 1 day a week to attend story meetings and contribute to the writing process. He also co-wrote the screenplay for The Simpsons movie in 2007. Personal life. Reiss lives in New York City with his wife Denise, and the two frequently travel abroad. He is Jewish. In 2022, Reiss visited the wreck of the Titanic in OceanGate's Titan submersible, a year prior to the submersible's infamous implosion that killed 5 passengers. He noted that before embarking on the expedition, he had to sign a waiver that mentioned the likelihood of death multiple times.